Perfect. I hope that we can live up to the music. That was definitely a lot. But we're really excited to have you here. My name is Anya Tertytsia. I'm a partner in KPMG France, focused primarily on transformation delivery and helping our clients achieve the best version of their project that they're hoping to make happen. And I'm really excited to have with me Nawal Habbouli, Vice President, Master Data and Solutions from Danone. And we can't wait to tell you a little bit more about what we at KPMG think is the type of emblematic project and the type of emblematic transformation initiative that our clients and more of the world needs to see. So we will be here to shine a light on a very different angle of prosperity, in this case, workplace prosperity. And maybe let's get started. So Danone stands for a lot of things, and with One Planet, One Health, Danone is a company that definitely has a very bright and a very positive social agenda. One of the things that we don't necessarily hear so much about, though, is what happens inside. And Nawal, I wanted to ask you, so tell us a little bit more about how Danone is taking the same focus on communities, the same focus on putting the human at the heart of what they do, and bringing that to the workplace.
Thank you, Anya. So thanks a lot for being here today. So as Anya just introduced, it's true that Danone has very strong and powerful brands. Being a B Corp company certified, we really think that sustainability is critical to business and to the economy. We also have this embedded into everything we do in the company. And when talking about people and Danone's commitment, this is super important to them. But sometimes it happens that Danoners will overcompensate this commitment and will overcompensate the lack of roles, responsibilities that we might have, the disconnected systems, and the diversity of the way we manage our master data and our data in general. So we launched a study late 2019, early 2020, to try to deep dive a little bit more, understand what are currently the pain points that we have, and how we could, as a company, address the Danone's experience across the different services we provide. So we did this deep dive. We came back with an idea to make an evolution of our business services. So we leveraged the strength of our previous business services that were pretty organized in silo and in functions, but with a very strong expertise. And then the idea was to make this evolution into a new operating model that we called integrated business services, that will really look at the Danone's experience, the services we provide end to end, with cross-functional teams. So with teams coming from finance, from IT, from purchasing, from HR, and bringing them all together in a global organization, locally, with a local footprint, and having this global and local footprint.
Perfect, thank you. So there's a very interesting notion at play here, this notion of a responsible global business services organization, but that is just a step to a bigger and broader transformation, and one, again, that puts humans at the heart. So Nawal, when I started this, I mentioned that your title was Vice President, Master Data and Solutions. We know that's not necessarily a title that we see a lot of in the marketplace. In fact, I think you may be very unique in that. But can you explain a little bit more how this different mindset and this different way of thinking about your role actually contributes to redefining the experience of Danoners in the workplace and building on top of the backbone that our first work, our backbone of business services really put in place?
Thanks for the question. So Anya and I and KPMG and Danone with KPMG is a story of 2 years now. So Anya, you know us, you know that sometimes we can be surprising. We embrace creativity, but the decision to have put master data and solution under one leadership is really a conscious decision. So we have the humble but still very motivating ambition to step change Danone's experience across the company, so at global and local level. And today, in everything again we do, we have to deal with process harmonization and ways of working. We have to deal with a strong backbone in terms of tech and data and with people. So having these three for us is the pillar of bringing solutions to Danone, services to Danone, and having the control, again, at global level and local level of the master data enable us to have a kind of end-to-end view and to break the silos. So if I take a concrete example, the Fonda platform that we are currently deploying and developing with the partnership of KPMG, and that is leveraging ServiceNow technology, is completely at the core of what we are trying to do. So we are trying to break the silos between the different functions and having a unique Danone's experience. So I am a Danone. Any question I have, I go to this one-stop shop platform that will help me get a better either service, either a direct answer to my question. So for us, this type of platform makes a lot of sense into having one leadership that combine all the different aspects of this transformation. So that's why we decided to do that. It's a bit different from what other business services organizations are performing. But so far, it's working pretty well.
And just to illustrate, I think when we selected this as a look at a different way of prosperity, a lot of what we do at work is really defined by our experiences. And I think we've all lived this moment where you want something and you can't get it. So what we're actively trying to do as part of this project is actually, you ask, you find. Whatever it is that you need, it's your fingerprints. You're not losing time, you're not losing energy, you're not trying to find the right person to answer a question. You're fully empowered to take charge of the work that you're doing. Obviously, we didn't just get there. It's been 2 years and many, many interesting adventures, many hard nights along the way. But Nawal, with the hindsight that you have now, and given everything that we've seen and everything that we've experienced, are there any really key pivotal moments that stand out, anything that you could have done differently, or anything that, you know, in 15 years looking back, you'll say, aha, I wish I would have done that a bit better?
Yeah, so before going to the 15 years, maybe just looking back at the 2 years that we have, where parts of it were very, let's say, study mode, design, understanding, finding the right use case we need for the company. COVID hit us during the project and during the study before we really actually started to implement. And this really highlighted the value that we could bring and enabled us to enrich the use cases we have and to enrich the solutions and the services we'll bring to the company. But at the same time, we understood that, because today, before we had the tendency to design a perfect solution and implement. After having lived the past 2 years, we understood that it's better to go fast. We go fast, we design, we answer to a need, we learn, and we continuously improve. So for us, this is really a shift of mindset, because you cannot just to tell people stop being perfect. They are trying their best to be perfect, but it's really, we have to go as fast as possible, we implement, and then if we do mistake, we correct, and we continuously bring content and continuously bring new capabilities to the different markets. And obviously some markets like China are different than the markets in America. This is a fact. And we have to consider that in the way we implement, we design, and we bring solutions and services to the organization. And this led us to the continuous mindset program that we embed completely in our integrated business services, and all our Danoners working into this organization go through a Lean Six Sigma certification. So most of them yellow belts, some of them, depending on their motivation, their profile, their job, will go through the green belt training, and some will go to the black belt, again, depending on the jobs they have. So this, the past 2 years enable us to again find end-to-end solutions to step change, improve, simplify Danone's experience, and bring new prosperity to Danone.
And I think that word solutions is really key. It's not about something that's perfect, but it's about something that's really addressing a specific need, a specific desire, or a specific opportunity. So we've already done a lot, maybe not as much as we would have hoped to, but what's next? What's coming? What's on the horizon? What should we be excited about other than the fact that all of our answers will be answered by Founda?
Yes, most of our answers. But you know me, I'm very pragmatic and down to earth. The first, for us, is it's the beginning of the journey. The first thing is we will bring this Founda platform to all Danoners across the company. We need to make sure that the content remains relevant, is accurate, and that the capabilities we bring to each market, even if we have a consistent backbone that is the same for all geography, still allows a local footprint and local, let's say, adjustments of the services and solutions we provide. So this is the first thing. Second thing that we need to do is step change and bring the state-of-art master data, meaning behind we put bringing, harmonizing and structuring all the master data of the company into one platform that will be globally managed with the local footprint to, again, enable each of the Danoners that needs the data somewhere in the company have accurate, complete, and available data all the time. Last point that we have in our next short-term agenda is automation. So automate to the max to be able to, again, unlock the Danoner's experience and ensure that whatever they do is designed and built for their core activities and take the burden out of their shoulders. Voilà, so in a few words, that's the 3 priorities we have in the next phase.
Perfect, and thank you so much. And again, just to wrap up, for us, what makes this relationship really special is that it really is at the heart of what we do. It's taking our focus to become a B Corp company as well and combining it with technology to make sure that we don't necessarily see all of the mechanics, all of the heavy machinery that happens below and that happens kind of behind the scenes. But what you receive at the end is something that's not frustrating, something that's delightful, and something that makes you feel that you're going to a workplace that enjoys you, that empowers you, and really a place that allows you to be the best version of yourself. Maybe that's a little idealistic, but we hope that if we shoot high, we'll make a measurable impact. So yes. I think that was all.
Yes. We are a bit dreamers, but I'm sure we will get there at some point.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, we're here for the next 7 minutes or 8 minutes.
It's hi. In terms of the questions that you can ask on this platform, how detailed can it go, and how diverse a question can you ask this platform? I find it kind of like quite difficult to imagine how granular you can go with your question. If you could give some examples of the kinds of questions it's able to reply to.
So it can go, so what we are trying to do is to make it as an ambition as diverse as possible, but obviously to start with, we take the really core questions that a Danoner has, either on his payroll, either on how to create a supplier, either on how to get information of a purchasing order or an invoice that they have. Because today, again, across the company, you have so many systems that sometimes it feels a bit challenging to find like in 5 or 2 minutes the question you have. And we don't want our services team to spend time answering, let's say, a basic question on where is my invoice and what's the status and so on. So the main focus, the first step will be to answer typical question a Danoner has when they arrive in the company. I arrive in the company, where do I find my onboarding? How can I get a laptop for my N-1? How can I get basic training? So all of that will be covered across the first phase of the platform. Then you can have content. For instance, I'm somewhere in a country, because we have at the same time ambition to standardize the way we manage the data, for instance, how I create a vendor, a customer, a product, what are the basic information a product should get consistent across the company. So this type of normally easy information should be available. After, we will see in 1 year, 2 years from now, and the idea is really to expand that to all the functions of the company, so that any service organization, even outside of integrated business services, could leverage this platform to serve as much as possible the customer, which is the Danone in front of them.
And I think maybe just to add, it's really about it was a great question, but if you think about when you're at work, the things that make your day annoying or that damage your experience or that drive a positive experience are when your flow of work is seamless. So we very strategically look at the actual flow of work. So what are the number 1, number 2, number 3 questions that people in doing their jobs actually need answers to? But then we also look at them as a human being and try to anticipate their work events, their life events, other things that, you know, if you're having a baby, you don't want to spend 15 minutes looking for an HR person, talking to 10 different sources to understand what your maternity leave is. You just want the information available to you because you're in a time of stress. So that's what we're trying to address with this. What takes the noise out of the system, but what also makes me feel like I want it, I have it.
And just to complete, the challenge we will have to make it sustainable is that the content is always as much as accurate as possible, because at the end of the day we are pretty confident for the next 2 years, but then if I come back 15 years from now, will this platform be super used at Danone? I hope so, but that's what we consider when we talk. I was talking about process, system, tech, and people and organization, because all of these three needs to go together if in 15 years from now we want this platform to be the backbone of the company and the people experience.
Any other questions?
Are you planning to use like the experience you got from developing this website to later on develop a platform that in the same way will answer all the questions from a customer or an outsider of Danone company?
That's the dream.
I guess.
Yeah, again, that's the ambition we have. We start by enhancing our people's experience, but obviously we are also leveraging the solution Coupa for suppliers, and that will be the ideal, is that suppliers, customers, and our Danoners are using this platform to interact with Danone and have a seamless experience.
Anybody else?
How to make it sustainable, eco-conceived?
How to make it sustainable?
This platform.
Yeah. So we are thinking today. So we are today at the beginning of the journey. But we strongly believe that to make it sustainable, we need to implement the organization that will maintain and be accountable of making sure that every year the content is up to date, because at the end of the day, the content is so coming from so diverse source. So it's coming from HR, from procurement, from IT, from whatever. So sometimes people will do it, sometimes they won't, sometimes they will feel accountable, sometimes they won't. We strongly believe that we need an organization inside this integrated business services accountable of the accuracy of the content, having strict KPIs to make sure that on a quarterly or yearly basis, the content is accurate, having at the same time implementing surveys, and we have a way to automatically check the content. So are people liking the content? Do they find it relevant? So this is the type of KPIs we track, and service line or service by service, we will be able to monitor to say, okay, maybe procurement have a little less relevancy in their content, so we have to do something. But we strongly need to embed that into the operating model and the organization. Thank you.
And maybe just to add to that, I think we talk a lot about it, but one of the ultimate drivers of sustainability is usability. And with that, also the empowerment of people to actually add comments, to actually find the information that we want. If you think about Google, oh my God, when I was in college, when Google started, nobody really knew how Google was going to work. And when we say that we want to be dreamers, it's not that we want to replicate Google, but we want to learn from the same philosophy and we want to apply it. if you go there and you have a question and you find an answer, the next time you have a question, you go there and you look for it again. So it's teaching people and giving them the confidence that the information that they need will be available, and then ultimately serving them that experience that says, oh, hey, I actually just looked for something and it appeared. I didn't have to click through 15 different things. Or, you know, even helping them in better articulating their need with chatbots and with other AI that's currently being built into what we're thinking about.
And just maybe a last comment on the Google-like approach, because we discussed that internally a lot, and we get inspired a lot by the Google platform. Very simple, same look and feel everywhere across the world. And this is what we have with Fonda. So you go to China, Americas or France, you will have the same. Fonda, you like it, you find it. The countries are allowed to translate, you find the tagline, so you find it, you ask, you find, but the Fonda is not translatable. The look and feel is the same, but the content is designed locally. Because again, China, US and France have different needs, different realities. But we get inspired a lot by Google, obviously, and we try to be as good as them.
And maybe just a finishing thought, even walking around here, we saw some ideas where we're like, okay, next stop, no chatbot, video agent. So I think we're looking forward to that.
That's the continuous improvement, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.